You think a little inclement weather is going to slow down the big guy? I don't give a shit. I'll punch a storm in the face, right? We had an earthquake here in Oklahoma yesterday. People like, you okay? I'll fucking punch an earthquake and a tornado in the face. Big guy don't give a shit, especially when it comes to round 4 showdown. What's up, new guy? My name's James, better known as TheDegeNeditor75. I'm a DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better at DFS, and not with picks and plays and all that silly nonsense, but a little thing called the process. That sounds interesting. Hang around for about the next 30 minutes. Maybe toss a question in the chat. If you find you like the cut of my jib, I encourage you to like and subscribe and check out that schedule right there. I do this every Friday and Saturday night at the conclusion of round 3 and round 4 as we break down the showdown slate for the next day, right? At the conclusion of round 2 and round 3 for round 3 and round 4. You know what? Words are optional around here, pal. I also do a first look show with Tambo every Monday when the prices drop. Although these next 2 weeks are going to be a little wonky because if you don't know, the big guy's going to the waste management, right? Because, people want to meet up with me and I want to drink beer with you. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Watch golf and drink beer with strangers? Well, we're all family. You know how it is. And then, of course, most importantly, be there every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. That's in the Lord's time zone as I break down all of the final thoughts you need to know before you play week-long, a.k.a. kicking the nuts. If you're not there, well, then just tell me that you are a loser and you enjoy losing money at PGA DFS, okay? Just tell me that. Well, you are by not showing up. If we get 100 likes, I will be giving away a ticket that we will put in the main contest tomorrow, okay? Because I don't think they're going to be playing tomorrow, okay? So make sure you're hitting that like. I already see 100 people in there, only 41 likes. Roughly 60 assholes, okay? Also, if you want to know some good historical round 4 scores, well, I'll show you that at the end. I can't give them away now, you pores, because then you'll just leave, all right? Let's start with contest selection. And yes, DraftKings finally put up the contest. I was texting or DMing with some of my DraftKings guys today, and they were just wanting to see what the PGA was going to do with this weather, right? I've actually grown to have a little bit of sympathy for DraftKings when it comes to Showdown because when there's bad weather, people kind of get stupid, right? And then that leads to overlays. So they wanted to make sure what the plan was from the PGA, and they ended up putting out better contests than I was expecting. If I'm being honest with you, they're basically the exact same contest we had today for round 3. But they're for round 4, right? And that was better than I was expecting because when there is inclement weather, when there's a chance there's going to be a delay, people go, I don't know what to do. Okay, you build your lineups like normal. It's not that hard, right? But people, they just clam up. So we should be pretty happy that we have good round 4 contests to play in. I mean, they're not the greatest, but, they're better than nothing. I'd rather be playing it. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we're going to look at the weather in a minute. It's going to finish on Monday, dude. They are not playing tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that we're not playing come Monday, right? All the strategy is going to be the same. We're just going to wait an extra day to utilize it. That's all this means. If you're not playing round 4 showdown because it's on a Monday versus a Sunday, well, I get that maybe, you got to work and shit, but the edge is still there and it's still fun as shit to track, and you'll probably have a nice Monday at work whenever you're checking your lineups all day instead of actually doing real useful work for this nation that we call America or wherever the hell you live. So as always, I'm not even really going to go over the contest. Look, if you're watching this show on a Saturday night, you know how I feel about contests. You want to get contests like the big main tomorrow, 25% to first. I hate that. I wish it were 20%, but it is better than when they give a third to first. The good general rule is just go do something like this one, right? My $10 AT max, my baby that I got created. You want to see first place be 10% of the whole prize pool. You want second place to be at least half of first, and you want 10th place to be 1/10 of first. And you can see it checks all those boxes. And another little thing to consider, try to stay in contest with under 5,000 people. If you're really, really new, try to stay in contest with under 1,000 people, right? That would be my advice to you. All the contests are the same. I love the club twirl. I love, the $33 single entry, $100 single entry, $200 single entry, $10 18 max, the $254 max. Those are the ones you're always going to see me in. You're very rarely going to see me in this one. I just don't like 25% going to first. And every time you enter these contests, you're casting a vote, and I refuse to cast a vote to play in contests I don't want to play in. Okay, so let's get going. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw out there today. I watched this show called the Showdown Hoedown last night. Some dude was just shooting bullets all over the place, just spraying and praying. And he also said that the course would play at least 2 under par today because this course had no defense today other than some tricky placements. And really, they only did tricky pin placements on about 6 of the 18 holes. This course was beyond gettable today. If you're like, oh, my guy shot a -3, that's good. Not really, dude. Not really, okay? A -3 was literally just an average round out there today. They roasted this course. And it was moving day. And by the way, some of those guys who had some of those nutted rounds, some of the guys at the very back of the pack, and you're like, man, you only play leaders. How'd that work out for you, pal? How'd that work out for you? Yeah, I bet you wish you had some Wyndham Clark in your life. Look, tomorrow's going to be a windy day, and we didn't see windy day coming. I mean, come on. It was right there for us to see, guys. It was right there for us to see. what's going to happen tomorrow? Well, I mean, first of all, I think that we want to take note that this course did play about the same both, right? Like as the day went on, the scoring got a little bit better, weirdly enough, but that also could have just been because the better players were out there, right? So I'm not reading too much into that. Half a stroke's not enough to really make some grand assumption about. But here's what we really need to talk about and what's going to affect everything. The PGA has basically said they're going to come out tomorrow morning and check the weather. And I can go ahead and tell you, they're going to walk out there and be like, nope, not playing in this shit. That's what they're going to say tomorrow, okay? That does not mean the tournament's over. For all of you that are currently winning a GPP or currently winning a bet, you bet win DC, I feel pretty confident that they are going to get this tournament in, okay? They're going to go out there tomorrow, and they're going to be very conservative with letting guys play tomorrow. And here's the reason why. If you, let's say you let 5 or 6 groups go off, hoping you can play through this, and then you realize an hour and a half into this, we're not going to be able to play in this. Well, those 5 or 6 groups you already let off, you have literally fucked, right? You've made them go play in like a gale force weather wind, and like they're screwed. They just wasted 6 holes. So they're going to be very judicious about how and when they release these guys because they want everybody to play the same conditions. And the worst case scenario the PGA could do tomorrow would be an attempt to start, let some guys get out there, just absolutely get butchered by these conditions, and then pull everybody back in. You've literally just screwed those guys. So I think that there is I would say at most a 10% chance you see any PGA Tour golf tomorrow, okay? That is what I know about the PGA. That is what I know by looking at these projections. Let's switch over to H. And as you can see, not only is it going to be raining like just insanity, it's also going to have, just your standard 70-mile-an-hour gusts, okay? Now, here in Oklahoma, we just call that Wednesday afternoon. In California, those tree-hugging hippies are going to just be flying into the ocean, okay? They're not going to be able to handle it. So, there's not a chance they're playing golf tomorrow. Unless like somehow this storm's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to head west for a little bit now. I don't think that's how storms work, but maybe they do. I don't know. I don't do a lot of ocean storms. So, that is the long story. So you're saying, so this tournament might get canceled. No, because let's go look at Monday. And, of course, we'll look at NAM because NAM's what I like to use 24 to 48 hours out. You can see, Monday does not look like great scoring conditions. There is going to be winds. But I'm just going to tell you, 17 to 18-mile-an-hour winds with 30-mile-an-hour gusts ain't enough to keep golfers off the golf course. They will certainly be out there Monday morning. You can see that the rains, even if there is going to be some, it's going to be more of that light, drizzly rain, not the heavy downpour that we're expecting tomorrow. And we've already seen they will put them out there when it's cold, when it's wet, and when it's windy. So I am confident they're going to get out there, and the PGA has already said that if they get started by 10:20 on Monday, they will play a 72-hole tournament. If this tournament is not ready to go, I believe it's 10:20 on Monday, they will cancel it, and it will be a 54-hole event. Okay, so for all of you hoping for a cancel, you better hope that storm lasts longer than they're anticipating. Okay, because I feel pretty confident you're going to see no golf tomorrow, and they will have them teeing off Monday morning, and they will finish late Monday afternoon. Okay. That is what I know. That is what I think. And here's just a couple thoughts I want to give you, okay? One thing that I would be very aware of, let's just go sort by total position. If this thing carries over till Monday, and some of these guys are going to be playing at the Waste Management. Waste Management is the tournament coming up next. It's down in Scottsdale, which is not exactly close to Monterey, right? I imagine it's probably about a 2-hour flight. 10 or 12-hour drive? I don't know. I don't hang on the West Coast, okay? I live in America. So here's what I can tell you. Some of these guys who are going to be playing in that tournament tomorrow who are not doing well so far, it wouldn't surprise me if you see some of them WD. They don't want to hang out all day Sunday in California and then have to go play Monday in what is essentially an absolutely useless round to then have to get down to the Waste Management. So I would be cross-referencing some of these guys that are down here, right? Like off the top of my head, I don't know any of these guys, but loser piece of shit. Oh, by the way, bad week for the loser piece of shits. I see Rory and Patrick Rogers down here. Tough week for the slapdicks. Max Homa, Cam Young, guys like that. Once again, I don't have the Waste Management field memorized. I know that it's a surprisingly good field this year, but I have not looked at it. Some of these guys down here who have no chance at getting up there probably are legitimate to, there's nobody who's a better example. If Hideki, I would say Hideki right now, I will lay 50-50 odds he WDs if there's no golf tomorrow. Okay, all of a sudden, his neck's going to start hurting, all right? You got to be aware of this. So tomorrow, I almost guarantee you that golf is still going to lock tomorrow morning. Unless for some reason there's going to be overlays, then DraftKings might push it back. But it is still going to lock tomorrow morning at 8 or whatever, and then we won't have golf till Monday. So a lot of guys are going to get put in lineups, and they're going to WD, right? Like, it wouldn't even surprise me. I don't, I've already told you some. I think Hideki would be number one on that list. A guy like Harris English, Patrick Rogers, these guys that have no shot of moving up the leaderboard, no matter how good they shoot, are not not going to want to stay in Monterey and play, for a whole day and then go play a useless round of golf, and they could just get on down to Scottsdale, where I'm sure it's lovely out in the middle of the fucking desert. Okay? So that is what I'll tell you. Just be aware. Some of these guys down here, that especially, once again, just go look it up. You can go look up Waste Management Field. You have Google just like I do, and you can find out. And if you see any of these guys down here, it wouldn't surprise me if they just skedaddle right on out of town and get on down to Scottsdale, because they are not trying to hang out in Monterey until Monday afternoon playing a useless round of wet, cold, shitty golf, all right? By the way, projections. I don't know if you heard my rant last night. If you didn't, I encourage you to go back and watch it. Projections are important. I load all of my projections and my ownership, not only for week long, but round 2, round 3, and round 4 Showdown, all right here into the solver. If you want my projections, I can promise you there's nobody who knows more about projections and ownership when it comes to DFS than this guy. It's literally been my entire life for the past 9 years, and my sole source of income from the last 5 years. I take a lot of pride in making them good, and you can get my projections and my ownership, and an optimizer called the Solver. If you just use that little Showdown Hoedown code right there, you can get it all for $24.99 a month. Incredible deal. Encourage you to do it, or don't. I don't give a shit, but I'm telling you, you should. If you want to build optimized lineups and have a clue with what you're doing. They have released the tee times for tomorrow, okay? And with these tee times, I think it's important to note that this shit ain't happening, Bob. It's not going to happen, right? They're going to go off at 7:45 tomorrow. They're in Monterey time. Dream on. I believe it was Aerosmith once said it beautifully. Dream on. Hey, that wasn't bad. Let's have a drink to that one. So, as we saw today, it's the same thing, right? The top half of the field will be going off of number 1. They'll be going off in 3s, just like we saw today. And the back half of the field will be going off of 10. Once again, there is a slightly better chance at chasing streaks if you go off of 10. But you got to remember, we are now playing round 4 Showdown, and round 4 Showdown is the most complex of all of the rounds of PGA Showdown. And it's simple because we have these things called position points, right? We have to factor in where guys are going to finish, because depending on where you finish the tournament, you get bonus position points, right? Only week long and round 4 do this. Round 1, round 2, round 3, Showdown don't do this, right? So this changes our strategy a little bit on how we should play the contest. First up, having the winner is always nice, right? But I am telling you right now, if you were thinking, oh man, these conditions are going to be brutal Monday when they finish, I don't disagree with that. And if you think, well, I'll just play all guys in the top 10 so I get more of those position points because there's going to be fewer birdies. In theory, that does make sense. And I get playing maybe 3 or 4 guys in the top 10. Right? But you also got to remember this. When conditions get shitty, guys fall off the earth, okay? There's going to be some guys that are in the top 10 right now who are legitimately going to shoot a +5 or +6 come Monday, right? And those guys, you're going to be like, oh, but they were safe. Okay, well, you played a 35% owned guy who now got you 3 points, and now you're literally dead. Okay, so the key is to not load up on all of these guys. The key is if you can find some guys who are going to shoot a -1, -2, especially if the course is playing 2 or 3 over par, that is how you do it. Not only are your guys still getting birdies and moving up, but everybody else is moonwalking back to them, and your guy just continues to climb up the leaderboard simply by just not going backwards, right? Let everybody else moonwalk. You just stay right there. So I think you want to be very aware of where guys start and where they could possibly get to. I think these guys, when you go over here and you look and you see these guys, like these guys right here, let's go all the way down to a guy like -6, right? Spieth, right there. It's basically the middle of the field right now. We have an 80-man field. He's T39, right? Spieth is one of those guys. If he goes and shoots a -3 in the final round and the average score is +3, he will almost certainly backdoor a top 15, maybe a top 10, right? And not only is he scoring all those birdies and having a great round relative to everybody else, now he has backdoored you those 5.5 points, as opposed to the guy that you played, who the hell ever. You played Sam Burns, right? Because he started in the top 10, and let's say he shoots a +2, Spieth will outscore him by something like 16 to 20 points, right? And he's going to be way lower owned because people are going to want that Sam Burns playing up there. Now you're saying, but what happens if Sam Burns and Spieth shoot the same round? Well, if they do, Sam Burns will outscore him. But you have to ask yourself, if Sam Burns is going to be 4 times the ownership of Jordan Spieth, what is that threshold? What is that point of diminishing returns in which playing the chalky guy gets outweighed by the upside of the other guy moving up and Sam Burns potentially moving down, right? The next thing I'm going to look at are who are some of these guys up here in the top 10 that I know have Frosty the Snowman written all over them, right? Who are some of these dudes up here that just have Meltdown City written all over them, right? Matthew Pavon, I'm just going to say it. The man's a god. The man is a French god, okay? Let's just accept these facts, all right? The guy can grind his balls, and he makes like 9,000 birdies. It's absolutely incredible, okay? But Mark Hubbard, I mean, like, he's playing good, but that's a lot of putting he's been doing, right? Mark Hubbard can get sideways quick. Thomas Dietrich, a guy that can probably get sideways real quick. Tom Hoagie, really good when conditions are good. How good is he when they get tough, though, right? Whoever it is, right? Iceberg, have we really seen him play in truly brutal conditions yet? We haven't. I mean, the guy is playing unbelievable, right? Him and Justin Thomas are just like, man, when you watch them, it's like, are these guys ever in trouble? Like, it's like they have 12 feet for fucking birdie every hole, right? It's crazy. But I know Justin Thomas in tough conditions can still play well. I've seen it at multiple PGA championships. Do we know that about old Iceberg yet? I'm not sure we do, right? And I can tell you right now that he will be every bit of 40% owned tomorrow, right? When lock is. It's going to be Monday, but lock will be tomorrow, but then they'll play the tournament on Monday. So if I say Monday, just know what the fuck I'm talking about. So you need to ask yourself, who are these guys up top that you can fade? Who are the ones most likely to moonwalk, right? And then I think you work from there. Okay. Then the next question you want to ask yourself, well, who are these guys who are just lingering outside the top 10 who, if this gets tough, can go climb up the leaderboard? Who is that guy that can find a -2 if this course is brutal come Monday, right? And who are those guys, right? Some guys that just instantly jump out to me. I am not trying to play Eric Cole in bad conditions. Siwoo Kim, Peter Malnati, Colin Morikawa, out. But you want to know somebody who's Patrick Cantlay, also not good in tough conditions, at least my perception of him. But you want to know some guys who can grind their balls when shit gets tough? How about Dumpy Bo? How about Bez? How about Adam Scott, right? These are some guys that are going to be really lower owned because they are starting just a little bit further back, just outside of people's comfort zone of their guaranteed position points that have that ability to move up by simply just playing even par, right? Some of these guys could start walking backwards. These guys could be moving up, right? So you need to find these grinders. Whoever your idea of a grinder is, I think that they are going to have inherent value, especially if they're already at this -8 or -9 number, right? Sign my ass up for Alex Noren and Sepp Straka. These guys know how to grind their balls, right? They will grind for you, right? Hell, even Keegan, right, who was not great today. I cannot believe he got to -3. They will grind for you. Some of these guys are grinders, and you want to find those guys. Tommy Fleetwood is a guy that I'll still remember the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills. I was there. I think the average scoring that day was like 3 or 4 over par, and he shot like a -5. Just an insane round, right? Some of these guys are, the tougher the conditions get, the better their value becomes. You're going to want to be able to identify those guys. And then the last question is, how far down do you go before you get too low? And I will tell you this, these guys starting at like -2 or -3, you have to pretty much accept that they are going to offer you in the way of almost 0 finishing points, right? To get finishing points, you have to finish in the top 50, and that only gets you a half point. To really get any points that matter, I think you basically got to get up into the top 20. And if you're over here and you're starting at -3, there's almost no chance you're going to backdoor top 20, right? You're going to have to pick up 6 strokes on the field. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So once you start playing guys -3 or lower, you really are just playing true punts, right? They are going to have to get it done with birdies and eagles and streaks and have them, if God is good, a bogey-free round, which I highly doubt there'll be many of, right? But a guy like Fitzpatrick, I mean, he's one of those guys that can shoot a -3 when everybody else is shooting a +5. He's got that kind of game. But on the flip side of that, he can also shoot a +4 when everybody's shooting -4, like we saw today, right? Max Homa, another one of those guys. He can shoot low when other people are shooting high. But you have to ask yourself, do I want to be paying those expensive premiums whenever their highest upside is probably like T25, right? They're going to have to get it done almost exclusively with scoring because they're not going to get it done with those bonus position points at the end. So for me, I would probably be cutting the line off somewhere here around -5, right? Because position points will matter more whenever round 4 happens, because whenever it happens, it will be the worst scoring round we have seen on Pebble Beach so far, okay? It will be the worst scoring round we have seen, thus making position points more important, right? So I want to have those guys that still have a realistic chance of backdooring me that top 20. And for me, I would say that magical cutoff is -5. Now, if you're playing in the lottery with 30,000 people or however many people are in it, I think you need to be open to almost anybody, right? You still want to watch out for Hideki and guys like that to withdraw. I've heard that Sung Jae is sick, even though he played great today. There is a chance that if he's not feeling well, he just quits, right? So you got to be aware of that. And, a guy like Xander Schauffele is right there on that cutoff that, like, legitimately, I think he'll be under 5% owned. And if you don't think Xander can go low, then, I don't think you know Xander. So that is an idea. I personally won't be taking any of these guys down here because I'm not going to be playing in the lottery tomorrow, so I just don't see a lot of upside in playing these guys. Yes, one of them will probably shoot like a -3 or 4, and it'll be a really good round, but like then I'm just trying to pick like one out of the 20 guys. There's 20 guys on there. What were the chances I was going to pick the one asshole that goes off? So to me, it's kind of a condensed field. I'm really cutting it off around the -5 guys, and I'm going to build my lineups different by making some different stands up top, and really, instead of playing 3, 4, 5 guys from the top 10 like so many people will, I'm really going to load up in this second range, this T11 through T31 range, guys that I think can still backdoor top 10s if they get that -3 or -4 round in really tough conditions. Okay, that is how you get different at round 4 Showdown. You don't go play these crazy wild plays like we do at round 2 and round 3 Showdown, because the complexity of round 4 is that we do need to factor in those position points, and we want to get different by picking guys who still have the upside but people are overlooking simply because of where they're starting the round. That would be my advice to you, okay? Let's go look at approach. First of all, let's just look at approach. We'll look at approach. Guys that absolutely killed on approach today, Lukey Gloves. And the big guy today, they were trying to sell me hard on him. But, like, I was just afraid, he might catch a beating or something. So I didn't play him. But, I mean, golly, had a really good round. And if he didn't lose 2 strokes off the tee, could have broke the slate, right? Jason Day played incredible today. It's the hammer pants. Tomorrow you got to be worried with the rain. Those hammer pants could weigh him down. But today there was no rain, so he was doing fine. Oh, look at Cam Davis. Damn. Cam Davis, that good of approach, that bad of putting. That guy's a psycho right now, though, right? He's either like the best golfer you've ever seen or the worst guy on the PGA. He just can't make up his mind on a day-to-day basis. Wyndham Clark just picking up a smooth 5 strokes putting. That's sustainable. Hey, help my week-long lineups, right? I went from, after day 1, I was winning $0. After day 2, I was winning $1,200, and now I'm up to like $2,800, right? We just keep growing at that pace. We're going to be fine. Jason Day, Wyndham Clark, you just keep going. I got plenty of those guys a week long, right? Let's see. Lee Hodges. Woo. Now, the problem is he's pretty far down there, but damn, that's some good ball striking. Scotty Scheffler. Talk about getting the least out of your round possible, Dickie. Nick Taylor, that was one of my sleeper supremes today. What did he? Oh, he didn't get it, man. Yeah, he made like 5 birdies in a row at one point. I'm like, I'm so smart. Look at me. I called that. Let's see. Bez. I'm telling you, Bez, good approach, and it's going to be grinder conditions. You give me the Bez. Peter Malnati, whatever. All right, did anybody kill themselves off the tee were otherwise good? Sam Ryder. Wow. Sam Ryder could be a good bounce-back candidate. I can't imagine he can lose 3.5 strokes off the tee again. Okay, I'm not playing Peter Malnati. I'm sorry. Scotty Scheffler. The Scotty Scheffler thing, I get it. He looked like an absolute god in round 2. But, like, when you knew he was going to be over 30% owned today and you just blindly played him and didn't just ask yourself, 50% of the time he's not going to have a nuts-type round, so just fade him. I faded him today at Showdown and worked out well for me. As much as I love Scotty and as good as he is, I just knew he was going to be too highly owned coming off of that round, right? It's not about, but I like him. Oh, I'm just so scared. Dude, you got to have a fucking attitude when it comes to Showdown, all right? You have to just have some YOLO to you because the playing the game is so important at Showdown, not your picks. All right, anybody kill themselves around the green were otherwise good? Sam Burns. Damn, Sam Burns had a round. And that was chipping like an asshole, too. Dude, Victor Hovland just quit on this tournament. He's another guy. Withdrawal alert for old Victor Hovland. If he's playing next week, I would have him on withdrawal alert. Eric Cole was the guy I played the most today, so of course he chipped and putted like Helen Keller. Lee Hodges already talked about him. Adam Scott, man, look at Adam Scott's ball striking. Adam Scott's just right there at -9 in that perfect stalking condition. And I'll tell you right now, Adam Scott's going to shoot a -5 or a +5 in the last round. That's all that dude knows how to do when conditions get tough. He's either a god or just the biggest slapdick you've ever seen. All right, there you go. That is a quick rundown of the stats. I want you guys to know real quick before we get to the questions, which, by the way, I don't even have the chat up. I'm such a noob over here. Wednesday on the stream, 7 o'clock, Lord's time zone. I'm making the biggest announcement I've ever made. I would really enjoy if you would be there. I'd appreciate it a lot. It is going to probably, when you see old Ron with the samurai sword and you see Jon Snow, you got to know something's up, pal. You got to know something's up, okay? By the way, come check out my site, degen75.com. Literally, just insane how many people are coming to the site. I appreciate every single one of you. I try so hard to offer the best product out there when it comes to ownership, when it comes to projections, when it comes to the behind-the-paywall content, and I do it all without price gouging people. You can get all of my golf content for $34.99, and just once more, 5 more days, Big Guy is shutting down forever. So if you've ever wanted to get in my most exclusive package, the Big Guy, you need to reserve it now. It is going away in 5 days, and no, I am not bringing it back. It is an exclusive thing, and it is getting 2 too damn full. Okay, it's like the club. We're starting to have to keep the hose out, right? The hood rats, you can't get in here. We already got all the fine looking honeys. And I have the best tool in all the PGA DFS called the Rosetta Stone. As you can see, it looks like the editor is currently working on it right now, but this is what it looks like usually. He dicking around, and it has everything you need to know for both week-long and Showdown. You can see we have quite a few winners, just 16 GPP winners last night just from my site. We already have had another, 8 or 9 so far this week. It's just, it's not because of my picks. I promise you that, because I'm not giving any picks, dude. All right, editor, I see 108 likes. I see 160 people, though, 52 donkey dicks in here. Editor, go ahead and draw a name for me. While he draws that name, I am also, by the way, if we get to 150 likes, we will do another one. All right. Helen Keller reference, drink. What, do I use Helen Keller too much? That's like once a thing. I think you should drink every time I cuss. That's what I think. Waylon Jennings. All right, here's some good round 4 scores. Russell Henley. Ludwig Iceberg. Oh, yeah. Andrew Approachnam and Tom Kim are some guys that are really good at round 4 scoring. So there you go. That is your round 4 scores. Do not forget, we are at the Waste Management next week. Me and my DGen75 team, Ship It Nation will also be there. A meetup. We're going to Pop Stroke. We're going to the casino. Of course, we're going to the fucking golf tournament. If you are interested in any of this, reach out to me or Tambo, and we will get you set up. Okay, it's gonna be a good time. All right. Looks like our winner is Rob Acton. Tough Acton, Rob Acton. That's what we're going to call him. Tough Acton, Rob Acton. All right, let's get to some questions and let's get out of here. I got to go watch this NASCAR race. I played some NASCAR. We put out some hasty projections tonight. If I don't see a question mark, I'm skipping your ass. Designated event. They'll find a way to finish this. So here's the answer to that. They want to finish it, but they've already said that if they can't get on the course by Monday, I believe it was 10:20. I don't know if that was Eastern or local time. I assume that is Pacific time, right? Because that's where they're at. They will not finish it. It will become a 54-hole event, aka a live event. Let's see. Moving on. What's wrong with Hovland? I think he got off to a slow start this week, and I think he's just kind of quit, right? Like, when these good guys have rounds like this, they just kind of quit. Like, he ain't even trying at this point. Like, he's so rich that, if he's not going to win a tournament, they lose interest. That's why I have him, Hideki, some of these rich guys who are already established. You've got to, Rory, the loser piece of shit, McIlroy. These guys are on major WD alert, right? If this thing carries over to Monday, I'm not kidding that I think you're going to see as many as 5 guys WD, and you don't want to have those piece of shits locked up in your lineup. Will they let him play? I think almost no chance they're letting him play tomorrow. Go collect. Look, even if they did want to let him out there in those conditions, you got to remember that the ball is not going to even stay on the greens. I don't care how wet those greens are. That wind's going to go. It's going to blow him. It's going to blow him. What a loaded statement. All right, moving on. What golf course? Kicking the nuts. Got to love it, right? I want carnage. I want absolute carnage. I want the average score to be like 3 over par. Hey, big guy, is the Frenchman going back-to-back? I got to tell you, Ross, I'm done selling on this guy. This guy's a fucking grinder. And I keep thinking he's going to run out of juice. The dude's just good. And then he makes a bogey. And then every time he makes a bogey, he just comes back on the next hole and sticks it to a foot. I am a big believer in Mathieu Pavon. Give me a croissant and a cigarette. Just avoid world wars, and we will kick that ass. All right? Dude, I'm a buyer. This guy's good. I am done selling on this Mathieu Pavon. Damn. Now I just swallowed my own spit. Tough scene. All right. They play tomorrow. Almost no chance. PGA is like a crazy high school. Coach has no practice no matter what. Yeah. You're setting a rule to play 2 guys from the top 7. Yeah, Jerry, I'll probably have a rule to have somewhere between 2 to 3 guys, right? From Jason Day. Actually, no, I'll probably throw Sam Burns in that. Because I think that basically Sam Burns up are the guys that can win this, right? I mean, I guess Cantlay could probably make a run, but I just don't like Cantlay in tough conditions. So probably have a rule that must say at least 2 of those, no more than 3, because you know me, I like those Chargers, and I'm not talking about the ones from L.A. Do we have a plan for Showdown Hoedown live from Waste Management? I will be doing Showdown Hoedown live from the Waste Management. I don't know how, though. Gotta get that. How many guys bitch quit? I'll set the over-under at 4.5, Ricardo. 4.5. Now, if you're talking WDs, 4.5. Guys who are mentally going to quit, I'll set the over-under at about 20. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to go out there and just hit the ball and be like, I'm done with this shit. Did the way in which Hovland closed out last year set expectations too high? No, I think Hovland is still a fucking animal. This just isn't a great course for him. Just not a great course for him. I played a lot of him this week, hoping that just his talent would overcome it, but it's not. This is not a good course. Long and hard is where you want Hovland, right? Big Dick Vic, long and hard. It's in his name. Can Hovland have a good round? Yes, but can he? Will he? I just don't think he's going to be motivated. I don't think he'll give a shit. Which, by the way, might be the reason he has a good round. He just doesn't give a shit. On a scale of 1 to awesome, what can we expect from round 4? Burns and Kuchar. Burns is the dude I love at Birdie Fest. I don't have a great vibe of how he does when it gets really icky and nasty. So I don't want to say he'll suck. Kuchar, isn't Kuchar like dead fucking last? I mean, is Kuchar doing anything? Didn't I see he was like what -2 or -3? Where's Kuchar? I'm not playing Kuchar. Where the fuck is he, though? Where's Kuchar? I want to find him now. Kuchar, where you at, you fat piece of shit? -6. Oh, God, lost 2.5 on approach today. How about this? How about you get the fuck out of here? All right. Not too related to this week, but who's your top exposure and underdog this year? Honest to God, I don't even think I've drafted one, Cordell. I got so much shit going on behind the scenes, I haven't even had time to go do fun stuff like that. I put others above myself. I am selfless. If weather is a shit show and they finish on Monday, some guys will bitch quit, which striking range top 10 will most quit. No, nobody I think that could backdoor top 10 will bitch quit. I think the only guys you're really worried about bitch quitting are probably these guys like Sung Jae and down, right? The -2 guys, Max Homa, Rory. I could see those guys doing it, especially Decky, guys like that, right? And which guys will grind? You know, I think some guys like Matthew Fitzpatrick was terrible today. And I think he's a guy that's such a fucking nerd, he'll grind, right? He'll be like, I could still get 28th place. Like, he's that kind of guy. So that would be an example of a guy that will grind his balls for you, right? I think Jordan Spieth will grind to the end for you. I think that Brian Harmon will grind to the end for you, right? He's not good at golf, I mean, other than one tournament, but I think he'll grind for you. Is Thomas winning a major this year? It feels like it, man. Justin Thomas, go watch him play. He is so under control right now. He is playing such good golf. Okay, it's going to be JT. All right, any shot of Hovland can quit sucking for your boy one round this week? It doesn't feel like it, Bob. Doesn't feel like it. Was Clark a surprise? I mean, look, here was my logic. I mean, Showdown today, yes. I did not see a 60 coming out of Wyndham Clark. But at week long, a U.S. Open champion at $7,400, that's low owned, you just play that and just know that every so often, you know, at a high enough rate, you're going to get dividends from that, right? My lineups have been catapulting up, so has at the same rate that Wyndham Clark has. So I like it. Let's see. Will they still get paid for a WD after 3 rounds? Yes, I think I think so. That's a good question. If they don't get paid, they won't. But I'm pretty sure they're going to get paid. I think this is guaranteed money to everybody in it. Plus, all they got to do is say, like, you know, their vagina's hurt, and then, you know, they're going to pay you if you're hurt. Should Scotty just put up with hockey at this point? Should Scotty just putt with a hockey stick at this point? I mean, you know, was his putting even really that bad today? Yeah, it was pretty bad. But overall, I feel like he's putting a lot better. He still misses too many short ones, but I still feel like he's putting okay. Don't they need to avoid WD's collect to check? Maybe. I don't know that. To be honest, I don't know. But I think that they get it no matter what. How do you come up with your projections? It's a long process, but I'm not going to tell you. There you go. That's the long answer. You want the long answer? No. All right, will there be a wave edge Monday? No, because as you can see, they're going to be all going off in a 2-hour period, and it looks pretty sustained on the weather Monday, right? Like, it looks like it's going to be about the same the whole time, right? Guys you like to go super aggressive low. Well, some guys, I mean, look, there are some guys that could just say fuck it and go, just pin their ears back and go for it, right? You know, a guy like EVR is always a guy that doesn't mind just going for it, right? A guy like Tommy Fleetwood does not mind going low. Some guys like that. Tom Kim is even interesting, even though he can't hit an approach shot right now. He is good around 4 scoring, though. Who plays well in crazy conditions? You know, just off the top of my head, I always like Euros. I mean, for whatever. In my perception, it's always Euros, right? Except Justin Rose. I don't like Justin Rose in tough conditions. Do you think round 4 could be an overlay? No, I don't. I mean, maybe with a delay, but I bet if there's a delay, I bet DraftKings just pushes back the lock time. Will DK release contest and Monday if cancels? Well, yeah, they'll refund it for sure. You're not going to lose your money. Yeah, no way they would do that. How far back is too far back? -2, already answered it. Are you ready for the NASCAR journey? We'll check back on that later. Isn't there a chance the DK moves back lock as long as PGA is putting out information? Absolutely, Cash. Absolutely. Can bad weather make this course not playable on Monday? Yeah, I mean, there is a chance if the course is too soaked, if there's too much rain. But I think what's really going to slow it down tomorrow is the wind, right? I just don't think the ball is going to stay on the greens. Lift clean in place, maybe obvious statement. Yeah, they'll be lift clean in place, but it won't matter tomorrow because the course is just going to be under a deluge of rain. Leaning harder onto driving accuracy will be extra juicy. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could play that, but this isn't a very hard course to find the fairways, right? Geez, this chat, man. A lot of chat going on tonight. Let's see. I do. All right. Is there a metric in the Rosetta Stone that captures adverse weather play? Well, no. We don't. And the problem is, it's just because that's such a unique thing, right? Everything that's on the Rosetta Stone tends to be things that are applicable round over round, right? Like that we expect to see in every round. Who is the one guy you're playing that we shouldn't? I haven't even looked yet, dude. Any chance of the DGen crew making it to Pinehurst for the Open this year? No way. No way. Pinehurst is way the fuck away. Although, I will tell you, I do like that part of the country, though. Once DK locks lineups tomorrow, you think we can adjust our lineups? No chance, T. Trissel. No chance. No chance. So that's why you got to be careful putting those guys in there that could WD. A little late to the stream. You think mini golfers won't make the course tomorrow due to weather? I don't think anybody is going to play any holes tomorrow because it will give an unfair advantage to those who didn't play. By the way, I see 151 people in here, 118 likes. If you just go ahead and hit that like, new guys, I'd appreciate it. Should Dunlap go back to being an amateur? Look, I mean, this was expected, right? The guy played out of his mind for one. He ain't that guy yet. Is JT the same storyline as Ricky was last year? Kind of feels that way. Big comeback story. I kind of like that. I don't mind that. Bung Magoo. The old WGC events paid everyone as long as they hit a single tee shot. I remember Daniel Berger doing that shit at St. Jude's. He literally hit one shot and then fucking WD'd. I was like, you fucking big teeth motherfather. Does the lack of spectators influence play at all? I don't think so. I mean, maybe they'll play a little quicker, but I can't imagine that they're going to play any different. Are you going to party it up? Yeah, I haven't drank in 4 months just because I've been saving it all for the waste management. But you know what? I'm going to drink tonight. All right, dudes and dudettes. Even with the crazy conditions, even with the weird timing tonight, still had a great audience. Appreciate you making this the #1 stream in all of PGA DFS, even when it comes to Showdown. I couldn't do it without you, motherfathers. Please remember this. Never forget Rule 3080. Expensive tout sites are shady. I think I'm going to get out of here with a victory lap. Let's do it.